On March 30th, Neptune entered Aries for the first time in over 150 years. This is not only beginning the month of April in a massive new dimension, this is also the second outer planet to reach its new zodiac sign in this insane moment in astrological history where all outer planets are changing signs at the same time. The last time Uranus was in Gemini, which is the last outer planet to change signs this summer, Neptune in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius was tens of thousands of years ago. And I know that may sound insane to some of you, but I believe it's like 15 or 20,000 years ago was the last time all of these outer planets were in the exact zodiac signs they will be entering all at the same time. Okay, so we have no clue really what was going on at that point in history, except I believe some archaeologists know that there was a lot of evolutionary leaps in the way human beings were behaving on the planet. I think there's evidence of sacred sites involving tracking maybe things going on in the sky a little bit more deeply based upon the hieroglyphs and all that weird stuff. And I also believe that there were evolutionary leaps in the way technologies were advanced, like agriculture potentially or something like that. But anyway, go look it up for yourself if you would like to know what human beings might have been doing 20,000 years ago. But my point is the last time we have seen Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries, and Pluto in Aquarius on this earth from a human being's perspective, even though people back then had no clue what was going on up there. But in the modern world, we now know, based on astrology programs and ephemerises and people who have done this work for a long time, that this is a massive moment in astrological history. This isn't just like your Saturn is back in Aries transit, or this is Pluto back in Aquarius after 200 and something years, because these are massive moments too. These are massive historical points to refer to, like the last time Uranus was in Gemini was in the 40s. When World War II started. The last time Uranus was in Gemini before that was when the Civil War happened. The last time Neptune was in Aries was when the Civil War began as well, which is why here on the channel I've been discussing some of these historical events, But the last time all of these outer planets were together in these specific signs has never happened in recent recorded history. We're talking 20,000 years ago. So we have to not really reflect and meditate on what the hell could have been happening that long ago. But what we can do is say, all right, well, there are some very smart people that are saying human beings had a massive evolutionary leap. Okay. And now as human beings, we are in an age of the tech world. We are in an age where the experiment of democracy from the American perspective, which the world typically looked towards America with fond eyes, involving our democracy or illusion of democracy, however you want to look at politics, so to speak. But this is a massive moment, evolutionarily speaking, in how human beings will evolve from this point forward, both technologically and politically. And politically also includes philosophically. This also can kind of include spiritually, but I will exclude the spiritual stuff from politics and philosophy, because philosophy and politics go hand in hand with how should humans behave? What should societies look like? What should all people believe in? Or how should they interact with each other? This is like political science 101. This is like philosophy 101. And at the same time, with Neptune and Aries, we are very much also going to be taking this into a spiritual dimension. But my point is, guys, is that this video will not be about world events, even though I kind of just went on a little rant there. Because if you guys would like to know my thoughts and theories on what's going on in the world, please watch one of my more recent Neptune and Aries videos where I triggered a lot of people, but that's okay. And obviously, if you would like to watch my April forecast, which I put out last week from the moment I'm recording this video, my April forecast very much detailed a lot of what's going on for this first massive month where Neptune will be in Aries. But for this video, I want to strictly kind of just talk more about how this spiritual revolution is very much going to be tied to a collective revolution. And I want to get a little personal with you. I want to talk about maybe a little bit of how I'm experiencing or how I'm planning on experiencing these first days of Neptune and Aries, because I could tell you 3 degrees Aries is my north node. And I already have been intuiting for a long time what Neptune conjunct my north node in the 6th house of work and daily life routines might bring me. But again, there's a lot going on for the month of April, guys. So I don't want to dive into any specifics. If you're watching this video, as you know, within the time frame that I'm releasing it, because if you're watching this in the future, then obviously the month of April 2025 has no relevance for you. But because in the April forecast, I did talk a lot about, we're going to talk about the lunar transits this month, guys. I have so much to say on the lunar transits, the full moon in Libra, the new moon in Taurus happening. You guys know that I very much zero in on the decans involved with where the lunar transits are falling. The decans are extremely important in my work. The tarot symbolism attached to the decans are very, very important in my work. So we're going to dive into so much in April involving lunar transits. Of course, Mars going opposite Pluto is massive. And of course, right now, as I'm speaking, Mercury is about to station direct very soon, within a couple of days, as I'm recording this video on March 30th, within a week from now. And Mars will be providing the most intense trines to the late degrees of Pisces at the time that I'm literally recording this video as I head into the first week of April. So, there is a lot that I could talk about right now involving further stuff going on in April, but I just felt very much called to talk a little bit more about Neptune and Aries, because this very much is a historic moment in time. And I believe Neptune takes a long time, like all outer planets. I think these outer planets take a very long time for us to really see the fruits of their labor. Okay, I do believe that if any planet, really, but even outer planets, if any outer planet conjuncts or makes a hard aspect to any planet in your natal chart, I am almost certain that you're going to feel it upon ingress, okay? A lot of astrologers say, yeah, Neptune or Pluto will enter Aquarius or Aries for you, and you may not notice anything. And yeah, that is true. If there are no hard aspects during this first moment, where Neptune's at 0 degrees, for example, to anything in your birth chart, then you may not feel anything. But from personal experience, and with other outer planet transits that I've had affect something immediately upon ingress, I can tell you there is an awakening there. There is a realization there. There is a psychic moment there, or sometimes a physical moment there. But overall, yes, most astrologers are correct with saying throughout a 20-year Pluto transit or throughout a 15-year Neptune transit, it's going to take some time to really know what is going on here, okay? Or when that planet, when Neptune finally makes it to a particular aspect, hard aspect to somewhere else in your birth chart, or to a particular planet in Aries for yourself, or in Pisces if you had massive placements there. It takes time for, Neptune to kind of show you in your face what it wants to teach you, what it wants to show you, what it wants to dissolve or awaken within you. And for me, I already kind of have the intuition and the experiences and the spiritual foresight. Obviously, I have some spiritual foresight, generally speaking, as like a mystic. But upon this ingress, I've already noticed something this morning. Literally, Neptune ingressed this morning, and I already kind of felt into a lot of what this already means for a powerful growth in my destiny. So maybe I'll get into that in this video a little bit more, but I really want to focus, guys, on not what's going on in April in this video. Like I said, I really want to talk to you. I want to get personal here. I want to talk to you about the power of Neptune and Aries being a powerful symbol for the spiritual warrior, for becoming fearless, for tapping into your intuition. There's things that I feel within myself that I know talking to clients all this past week, even as well, what Neptune and Aries very much is asking of us, and what we can do to maybe work with some astrological magic and meditation to maybe get a sharper look into what this transit actually will be about for us. Okay. And upon its entry into Aries, Neptune will be sextiling Pluto, or Pluto will be sextiling Neptune, however you want to look at it. But Pluto right now is at 3 degrees, and Neptune now is at 0 degrees Aries. I give 5-degree orbs between any aspect or any conjunction to be considered something very much noting, something very much activated. And I think not a lot of astrologers in my world are talking about the immediate sextile to Pluto that Neptune is providing right now. And as soon as Uranus gets into Gemini, the sextiles that Uranus will be providing Neptune as well. And Saturn by the time the summer comes, because Saturn will be pretty much conjunct Neptune all through the summer, okay? And through the fall until they retrograde back into Pisces. But these sextiles are massive, guys. And I actually want to bring up the Decan in which Pluto is in today. I've talked about the first Decan of Aquarius before. And on my Patreon, maybe a month or so ago, I talked about the first Decan of Aquarius and how incredibly accurate this Decan is in conjunction with what we're seeing on the world stage and what we're seeing play out all over the world, okay, in America and everywhere. And I'm sure in our lives, there is something similar playing out, okay? And I'm going to do my best, of course, to constantly be talking in this video about us, okay? Because I want to make this video more personal. I'm going to do my best to not talk about the world because I mean, guys, it is so easy to talk about the world with these outer planet transits. It is so easy to look at what's happening in the world and go, oh my God, there's a lot that's going to change. There is a lot that we can't see coming. There is a lot of conflict, and there is a lot of collapsing of structures and rebuilding of structures. We don't know how to navigate this. We have no idea what this is like. And for people like you and me, you know, we're not going to have any particular hand in the pot of these massive collapses and awakenings and rebuilding of things in this world. But we can do the best we can to stay in our lane and follow our mission. Okay, to do what we feel called to do, what we need to do to continue to heal ourselves, to continue to pursue our dreams and things that we wish to manifest in our reality. And if we do that, we will be doing our part for the world. And that's something I always want people to understand when people get freaked out about what's going on the world stage, or when they get scared, or there's just this complete question mark around so many things. Because Neptune and Aries and Pluto and Aquarius in our birth charts, guys, this is stuff we need to very much zone in on. We need to get clear on this. We're transforming. These parts of our lives are very much in the spotlight for incredible shamanic transformation. It is time to act, my friends. And that is something that is very Aryan in nature. The first Decan of Aries ruled by Mars, we need to move forward. We need to act. Okay. We need to plan and take action. And the first Decan of Aquarius is very much about how do we navigate conflict. And that is what I find so fascinating about this first Decan of Aquarius. So we're going to talk a lot about that today, guys. But before I continue, I would just like to say that if you are tracking with me thus far, if you are new to the channel, I would love if you could consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, hitting the notification bell. All that stuff really helps the channel's growth, my friends. And we've been seeing incredible growth here on the channel, guys. And I couldn't be more thrilled and blessed that this channel is growing, that so many of you are booking readings with me. It's amazing to have like a whole new family that come and consult with me. And, if you guys are interested in having a session with me, check out my links down below. I have a pretty well formatted website for you to book your own reading. I have a couple of spots left for April. Otherwise, you can start booking in May if you want to look ahead. I mean, guys, there's so much astrology happening and so much transformation that all of my readings lately have been just very, very profound. And so yeah, guys, links down below. If you'd like to learn anything else about me, go to my website. And yeah, my Patreon, I have a Patreon too, where I put extra content up there, guys. You can sign up for $3 a month and pay a couple of dollars a month. You get some extra videos and audio from me. And it's a good time over there. But guys, let's start with a little bit of Neptune and Aries. Neptune and Aries, depending on where Aries is in your birth chart. And please, I know I've been asking a lot of you to share where Aries is in your birth chart. Like, where is the house topic? What theme of life is that for you? Because this is very much going to be the tip of the pyramid that Pluto and Uranus will be feeding sextiles to. So Gemini and Aquarius are very important in pretty much predicting where the more transformative and wild changes will be happening in your life over the next 8 years. Because Uranus will take 8 years to travel through Gemini. And we can say that this triangle, right? Uranus and Pluto trining Neptune are going to be the most powerful, obviously within the first couple of years of Uranus and Gemini, but just generally speaking, the Gemini part of your life, the Aquarius part of your life, and the Aries part of your life are the massive stories that are going to be changing your life forever. This is what you were born for, guys. Not only were we all born to face this moment in history, but you were born to transform and shift in the Gemini part of your life, the Aquarius part of your life, and the Aries part of your life. But right now, as I speak to you, Neptune is at 0 degrees Aries in the first decan of Aries, which is ruled by Mars, which is ruled by the Two of Wands in the tarot. And if for those of you who are unaware of what decans are, they are subdivisions of the zodiac, okay? Every zodiac sign has 3 decans. They are subdivisions within each zodiac sign, like I just said. And each one of those decans has a ruling planet. Each one of those planets has a tarot card associated with it and a minor arcana card associated with it. And then, of course, there's a major arcana card that rules the zodiac sign itself. So Aries is ruled by the Emperor. The decan is Mars, ruled by the Tower. And the minor arcana card is the Two of Wands. So we're dealing with Neptune entering this first decan of Aries. And when we know and meditate into what the Two of Wands represents, it is about having a vision to conquer. It is about initiating conquest. It is about taking action, okay? Transformation with that Tower card, but also taking action to looking at something going on in the Aries part of our life that probably is going to be connected to the Aquarius part of your life because of the sextile to Pluto. And then when Uranus gets into Gemini, there's going to be, again, another emphasis on conquest, on putting plans into action. And then all of the other decans in Gemini and, of course, Pluto, they're also going to be painting a picture of what this all means too. Now, I'm not going to talk about the first decan of Gemini today. I want to focus on the first decan of Aquarius when I get to it. But while we're just meditating on Neptune and Aries, this is about tapping into your intuition and trusting in the things you wish to manifest in this world. This is about being fearless, guys. Fearless. Having trust and belief in something you wish to manifest in this world and being fearless in your pursuits. I was talking to a woman recently and she was going through a really hard time medically. And I have a lot of people come to me with medical issues. Okay. Not that I'm a doctor or, do anything or suggest anything medically speaking, but this ingress was happening in her 9th house of personal belief, of spirituality, of, personal philosophy, and, of course, travel and all that other ninth house stuff. But the ninth house is very much about philosophy, belief, personal belief. What do I believe in? What higher knowledge, wisdom, expansion of learning. And she was just starting to understand that if she was going to survive, if she is going to expand her lifespan, if she is going to overcome this medical issue, which is very, very scary, she would need to put all of her trust and faith into being fearless in exploring what she needs to explore to learn more about her medical situation and to explore new paths that she might not have thought otherwise because the medical institution has failed her. So finding alternative methods of healing and awakening is very important. And I trust Western medicine. I hate the insurance world, guys, just to make that clear, but I trust Western medicine. But in many situations, the medical institutions do fail us. And in this person's situation, having Neptune, a very spiritual, expansive planet that can very much awaken us, that can bring us spiritual insight, and of course, inspiration, and dissolve things as well, dissolve old belief systems to birth new ones. And she was very much on her way. I could see it in her eyes that she was going to expand herself and her learning around her medical situation. And this is something that she needs to be fearless on. And that's what I told her. You need to be fearless. You need to tap into your intuition, start learning more about your body, and then move forward. Okay. And take action. And then, yes, there are links to Pluto. Okay. And I don't want to talk about her the whole time, but the thing is it's time to be spiritual warriors in the Aries part of our life, guys. For me, with my North Node in Aries, it is time for me to recognize my destiny. Okay. My 6th house is where the North Node is. And for me, it's very much involving my career. Being a successful astrologer, expanding my resources and how I can offer more to people who trust me as their teacher, who follow me on YouTube, for example. There's a lot that after many, many years of self-discovery and, psychic awakening, truly finding myself, as a man, as an artist, as a astrologer, as a mystic. And now I'm at a place where, I fully feel activated. And I didn't need Neptune to get to Aries to show me this, but now it's almost like, okay, bring it on. I need to be fearless now in coming to the world. I need to be fearless in trusting my psychic skills, okay? Because I've been stiff-arming psychic things for a long time, because sometimes when you're psychic, it could be a little scary. So I feel a lot of this transit in this North Node energy for my work, my purpose as an astrologer, as a mystic, as someone who teaches esoteric arts. Like embracing the Neptunian in all of its highest consciousness states is extremely important for my growth. Okay. Now, what does this have to do with the 8th house of Gemini for me? Well, what do you think the 8th house is all about? And then, of course, my 4th house of home, roots, family, and foundation. Well, I can go on and on about what the 4th house is for me involving family dynamics, massive story playing out there. But also I work from home. There's a lot going on deep within me on a very personal foundational level that is changing. Okay. I'm a very late bloomer, guys. So there's a lot that's going on, involving my life. And the main message I want to just tell you guys is having faith in your actions is so important right now. I need to have faith in my ability to be a better person, a better psychic, a better astrologer, someone who can trust into tapping into deeper things, to trust my creativity and maybe the insights that come to me, to trust my ability to show up in the world as someone who is truly walking a mystical path now. There's no turning back. There's no turning back now. Now, what's interesting about the first decan of Aquarius, though, guys, because I want you to also share with me where Aquarius is in your birth chart, because Aquarius is also going to be activated by Neptune right now. Okay. Until July, when Uranus gets into Gemini, we are dealing with a very powerful sextile that's happening with Neptune and Aries in the first decan, okay, 0 degrees, and the first decan of Aquarius, where Pluto is right now at 3 degrees. And yes, we're about to have a Mars opposition to Pluto at 3 degrees, which is a whole other story. But let's just focus on Neptune right now. We're talking about this spiritual warrior, this, becoming fearless. We're talking about, putting plans into action, believing in things we wish to conquer, okay, believing in ourselves, okay, which also may tie into the Chiron wound, okay? So again, I'll talk about Chiron maybe another time, but Chiron is about to be activated with Neptune now. Even though they're very far apart, they're in the same sign. So a lot of the Chiron wounds that we've been faced with over the years, there's going to be a couple of more years now until 2027 that Neptune is very much going to be a part of, involving this spiritual expansion, potential spiritual healing. And again, I feel this is all coming down. And I would actually argue that I bet you some of the healing to the Chiron wound is becoming more fearless and confident and self-empowered, to take your power back in the part of the Aries part of your life, and to use spiritual will in the process of doing so. Okay? But, this first decan of Aquarius is ruled by the star, okay, in the tarot. Okay, when the star brings hope, renewed power, and strength to carry on with life. So the Aquarian story is very much an evolutionary one of hope for the people, the collective rise. Okay, how do we have hope for the future? How do we build a world that can bring growth and change and hope and renewed power, right? This is what we're faced right now. And I'm not going to get into the Aquarius story with Pluto's first moments here, because I do believe that we always start with a shadow during the first ingresses into Pluto. When Pluto ingresses into new signs, I believe we see the shadow archetype of Pluto before we see any sort of light side of it. Venus rules this decan, okay, which is ruled by the Empress, which shows us how deeply we are embedded in our femininity. Okay, so the Empress very much rules this first house of Aquarius, which is a strange decan to have there, because Aquarius you would not think is, there's no Venusianness really associated with this first, with Aquarius, in my opinion. That's not what you normally think. You normally think, well, in ancient astrology, Saturn rules Aquarius. In modern astrology, Uranus rules Aquarius. So where does Venus really come into play here? Because Venus really is a planet of beauty and pleasure and harmony. So what this first decan of Aquarius ultimately desires is that, okay? But the truth of the matter is that when the Golden Dawn, the Hermetic order that assigned tarot cards to the decans, the Five of Swords, the 5 is the next order of minor arcana cards for the air signs, for the air suits to come into the first, into Aquarius. So the 5 of Swords is very much kind of the opposite of Venus. It is unbridled ambition, fighting at all costs, conflict. It could suggest disagreement with others, which leads to hostility and tension. So the 5 in the tarot is all really, when we think about the 5s in the tarot, we're thinking about severity. And Mars is kind of the planet that would be kind of associated with severity, very severe actions, very severe events and emotions and things to occur. And when we're dealing with the first decan of Aquarius, ruled by Venus, which is associated with the Empress, which is, about harmony, fertility, like pleasure, enjoying oneself, like wanting to grow things. And we're dealing with a card which falls in order from the prior air sign, okay, which was Libra, of course. The 5 is a card of severity, a card of, again, conflict in a way. And when we talk about the 5s, we're talking about instability, imbalances, severity. This is, You know, the Five of Wands is associated with ambition and drives. The Five of Pentacles, material resources. The Five of Cups, emotions, instability around these things, imbalances around these things. And the Five of Swords is instability and imbalance around thoughts and conflicts. So the beginning transit of Pluto in Aquarius is going to be a chaotic one while we are starting to understand more deeply about the life events going on in that part of our life. This is going to be somewhat of a turbulent imbalance, if you ask me. And the sextile to Neptune is going to have a little bit of that energy baked in. Just like the trines to Uranus and Gemini, which are, again, we're going to have another sword suit involving the first decan of Gemini with Uranus there. But with the first decan of Aquarius, we have to very much acknowledge some of this intellectual and chaotic instability involving the way we are perceiving this part of our life, which is why on the world stage we are seeing a lot of conflict. This is why we're seeing a lot of tit for tat. This is why we're seeing trade war stuff, in my opinion, as well. The Pluto transit in Aquarius is very loud for a lot of things involving fighting at all costs. You know, the current administration in America is fighting at all costs to make their vision the law of the land, the law of the world, in fact, you know, and that's only going to fuel the Neptune and Aries story. But, you know, in my opinion, the way that we work with this first decan energy, this Five of Swords energy, is to become the storm, not to be taken advantage by the storm. Because the Venus Five of Swords energy here, right? We have Venus kind of getting affected. Like, it's almost like there's a weakness in a way to the first decan of Aquarius. And the Five of Swords is like the kind of opposite. Like, no, we're not going to let this be a harmonious time. No, we're not going to let this, be smooth. There's going to be conflict here because Venus and the Five of Swords don't get along. That is not really a harmonious, metaphysical bonding there. This is something that will be imbalanced. This is something that will be unstable. But how do we make something stable? We become the storm. We become Zen. We take action. We move forward with grace. And having grace pretty much overwhelm us in a way at times. We have to tap into something deeper. And this is where I think Neptune will very much offer some support, because that is going to be the spiritual awakening energy. That is going to be the harmony energy of having faith in stuff that we go through in the Pluto Aquarius transit. At least the first 5 years. Because once we get to 2030 and 2031, that is when Pluto and Neptune will enter their second decans of their zodiac signs. Second decan of Aquarius and second decan of Aries for Neptune. So this is a really powerful point in history, guys. And like I said, the first decan of Aquarius is kind of conflicting, because it seems like a lot of people are they're not ready to fight. We're still in this weird space where, a lot of people haven't woken up yet. We have not faced the truth and challenges potentially of what's going to arise yet in the Pluto Aquarius transit. We are being tested. We are being given an opportunity where we must still be fearless. So again, this fearlessness, this spiritual warrior energy that Neptune and Aries, especially in the first decan ruled by the Two of Wands, is asking of us, is to be fearless in conquest, in things that we know we must do in our life to move forward. Things that we know we must begin to embark upon, just like that woman client I had. She knows she must embark on a health journey or her life is at stake. So there are things that we know and we're starting to get the message on. And we're starting to see how things on the world stage are manifesting in real time, and what we need to do, or what are the first steps as a humanity we need to take to change some of the things we don't agree with on the world stage, for example. But this first decan of Aquarius is going to be a fight. It is going to be, how do we handle conflict? How do we engage in conflict peacefully? But also, when do we know when to turn on the flame if necessary? Okay? Because turning on the flame is going to be very needed for many of us in our lives, because it's time to take our power back. And that is a massive Saturn and Aries lesson as well. Because when Saturn and Neptune start dancing with each other, taking our power back in a very literal and spiritual sense is pretty much a motto you'll probably hear come out of my mouth. Taking your power back. I know people in the spiritual new age like to say that all the time, but this is like a for real time to take your power back. Okay? Aries is the self, identity, freedom. Neptune is a liberator. It's going to dissolve anything in Aries for you that's no longer serving you, and it's time for you to be fearless and a spiritual warrior there, while also dancing and understanding more deeply where these other outer planets will be interacting with Neptune. And in this case, the point of this kind of long video was to get to the first decan of Aquarius to show you, hey, Venus rules this decan. Okay, the Empress exists here. But this is really not a time for growth, so to speak, in Aquarius. This is more of a time to fight adversity, to fight challenge that may be arising in this decan, in these first 10 degrees of Aquarius. And the first 10 degrees of any outer planet transit, especially Pluto, because Pluto is Hades. It is the underworld. It is, we're going to hell before we are rising up and being reborn. So of course, there is a conflicting energy with the beginning of this massive historical transit here, where Pluto in Aquarius has always defined revolutionary and evolutionary shifts in consciousness. So we need to be strong. We need to fight for what we believe in. We need to look at the Aquarius part of our lives and go, okay, how can I also be fearless here too? How can I also be awakened and enlightened here? How can I bring my spiritual warriorness here? Because that is how we conquer all of this, guys. All right, my friends. Well, that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe once again if you're new, and stay to the end. And I will see you in the next one.